All right, we're going to get into two topics on this 10 Minutes of Truth with Barrett and Baxa. Chicago on ice and TMZ on the rocks. Newspapers are taking heat for their headlines about an ICE agent's brush with death after being dragged by an illegal immigrant and his car in Chicagoland. First, though, we'll talk about the cheering in the newsroom at TMZ right as the death of Charlie Kirk was announced.
You're listening to Barrett and Baxa. Real stories, raw takes, and the slow, strange death of traditional media.
Yeah, TMZ got called out for cheering heard in the background at the same time that the newsroom had just learned, maybe, that Charlie Kirk had died. So let's check that video out.
So the news conference is scheduled for 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. Janet, go to have somebody look at the Fox. Trump just posted that Charlie Kirk is dead.
All right, so is this ready to pull the trigger? We can get cut in a second.
So there you go. Okay.
All right, let me give my first thing, because I worked, as everyone knows, I worked at Metro Traffic in Miami. Metro Traffic Miami, in addition to providing traffic reports for every radio station in Miami, also provided news reports for virtually every station, dozens, both English and Spanish language. So it was a huge newsroom. There were TVs everywhere. And if just because two people over here were watching a solemn, funeral for somebody, three people over there could literally be watching like a funny dog water skiing video. Like, that was very common in this huge newsroom. So when I was actually told about this by Carrie Barrett, your sister, and my first thought was, all right, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and say that the people who were cheering easily could have been watching something totally different and just were not even aware of Charlie Kirk. That was my first thought. But then what happened?
Wait, so TMZ came out and said that's exactly what happened. TMZ comes out and they post another video a little bit later in the afternoon saying, oh, this group of people in the back room were just watching a car chase. And they were cheering about the car chase, right?
Totally believable. I believe that.
It is believable.
That you might
for those
cheer.
of us that work in a newsroom. But here's
car
why I don't buy
chases get
it.
crazy, and people, even though it's not really a laughing matter, you could be laughing about a car chase.
And I watch the car chase channel on DirecTV all the time, and I can sit and watch a car chase for hours just like everybody else. But when Charlie Kirk has just been shot, right, and you don't even know what's going to happen to him, you are not watching any other news in a newsroom like that. So that's the first reason that I didn't buy it. Okay. And so it got people thinking. And, one of the reasons that we're here for you is to shine a light on social media sleuths who now have kind of taken over to do the job of the traditional media. Traditional media that is not doing their jobs. Right. And so there was a woman out there who's just kind of one of these social media sleuths who thought to herself, well, wait a second, let me look into this. Was there a car chase? And what car chase would have been going on at exactly that moment live on television? And she found it. She found the car chase.
In other words, she acted in the most basic way that a entry-level journalist would act. Just, hey, ask a question. Let's try to verify if what these people are saying is true. So, very basic journalism.
Right. So let me just play what her very basic journalism found out.
Okay. There's nothing I love more than a good investigation, and I'm coming to you guys with the receipts. Exhibit A, the alleged car chase that they were watching.
Right there on the banner below, you can see it started in Temple City, and we saw that. Go ahead, Philip.
Well, I wanted to let you know that President Trump has said Charlie Kirk has died. So that is the breaking news that we are likely about to have with ABC News.
Exhibit B, the giant clocks around their office. Exhibit C, don't worry, you won't have to do the math because I've done it for you. Timestamp, time. It is 1:07 and 15 seconds in the afternoon, with the timestamp on their video of 3 hours, 42 minutes, and 5 seconds.
For 3 o'clock and Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific.
Exhibit D, we have the cheering starting at exactly 4 hours, 17 minutes, and 15 second mark, which is a difference of 35 minutes and 10 seconds. So if you take the timestamp plus the clock saying it was 1:07 and 15 seconds, add 35 minutes and 15 seconds, what time would you have? 1:43. So they technically were watching a car chase video. What do you think they were cheering for?
Nice.
So at a girl, Peggy Bolton.
Yes,
So
I love that.
essentially, TMZ, Harvey Levin was not lying. He did have people in the back room that may have been watching that car chase. But
Yes.
guess what happened at that very moment? The person on that local television station said, "We just got word that Charlie Kirk has died," and boom, the cheers erupted.
Yep.
So it wasn't quite a full lie, but this woman was able to determine that TMZ was not being completely honest when they said that.
Just some random woman. And I mean, what should
Yeah.
have happened is some journalist from KCBS or KABC or any one of the other, 15 channels in Los Angeles should have said, all right, TMZ says this. This is very easy to check. What car chase was happening at that time? What channels was the car chase on? What were they watching? See what's happening. Like this woman did. This woman acted like a damn good journalist. And she discovered that TMZ is full of shit. And on the screens that they were watching was news of Charlie Kirk's death. So busted TMZ. You were cheering Charlie Kirk's death.
Yep. And I know everything, it seems like everything has been about Charlie Kirk. And we talked about this a little bit on the last episode, that there's sort of this feeling, or at least I get the feeling, that there's not a lot out there happening. In fact, we always have like so many little protests. We have Dems singing, we've got chants and all kinds of things, crazy accusations and crazy sound bites from politicians all the time. This
Right.
week, there's been a lull in all of that. But one thing that did, wait, let me go back. One of the things that I sort of equate it to is when you were a kid and
Yeah.
you knew that you got your dad really mad. Like,
Yes.
Dad's really pissed at this point. So I'm just going to go in my bedroom and read a book, and I'm going to
So that's
stay
the
out of
left
his
right
way.
now?
I
They're
think the
the
left
kid.
right
Got
now.
it.
Yeah, they're the kid who's like going, uh-oh, we
Right.
really got them mad, and we better shut the hell up. But
Yeah, this happened in my house many times. I would behave. My father would go. We called it going berserk. He would
Yeah.
go berserk in a screaming kind of fit, and then for the next like 3 or 4 days, I would be like a model child, just
Right.
quietly in my room behaving.
happened in my house
That's the
too.
left
I was like,
now.
oh, better watch out.
Yep.
But one thing did happen during this period of time, over the last week here, that would have just sparked outrage in the media and by the left, and that is a situation in Chicago where an ICE agent is trying to pull over an illegal immigrant and get them out of the car and take them into custody and detain them. Well.
Right.
Allegedly, this illegal immigrant drives away in the car and drags this officer behind their car. The officer was badly injured.
Yeah.
And so it's a news story, obviously. And Fox News was the first to point out some of the headlines, and it got me looking into the headlines. And Bob, I want to get your reaction to some of these
Yes,
headlines, okay?
these
And
are
see
good.
if you can. It's kind of like Want, we only need the headline.
Right. That's what this is.
These are wants right here. So these are headlines. Keep in mind, this is a man who was shot while after dragging a police officer, an ICE agent, with their car.
And let's just
okay?
make it clear. This is exactly the same thing. If you pull out a gun and point your gun at a cop, the cop has to assume that you are about to kill him, and he must then kill you first before you kill him. You're pointing a gun at him. Well, if you aim your 3,000-pound vehicle and hit the gas and start driving towards a cop, that's a weapon. You're trying to kill the cop. So as far as I'm concerned, you just pulled out a weapon, and the cop should pull out his gun and kill you, or else he's going to die.
And this is the exact situation that actually started the St. Petersburg riots. A lot of people don't remember this. St. Petersburg, Florida, back in the mid-'90s, a police officer stepped in front of a vehicle, tried to stop someone who it was some kind of a traffic stop. This person plowed into the officer. The officer ended up on the hood of the car and shot this person right through the windshield to stop this vehicle that was speeding away with this police officer, St. Petersburg police officer, down in Florida. And there were riots on multiple, there was riots 2 days of riots because of this. And I covered it. I mean, these were terrible riots, but I can tell you, in every police department and sheriff's office throughout the country, the policy is if someone is attacking you with a motor vehicle, you shoot to kill. So let's go back to the Chicagoland incident and some of the headlines. Fox was the first to point it out, and then I went and found some other headlines. So here's a headline from the New York Times. Man fatally shot in confrontation with ICE officers in Chicago area.
Now, think about that. Think about that. Confrontation. So a confrontation is when two cops are walking down the street and they see a group of men and they appear to be carrying some stuff out of a building, and the cops go, "Hey, is that stuff stolen?" And the guys go, "F you," and it turns into a thing. That's a confrontation. Aiming your car or dragging a cop with a car, that's not a confrontation. That's attempted murder.
So here's how Reuters said it. ICE officer kills man in Chicago suburb during arrest attempt. The Washington Post. Man in Chicago fatally shot by ICE officer after allegedly resisting arrest. No, he's trying to run the police officer over.
He's not resisting arrest.
Here's some of mine. So this was AP. Latino leaders condemn ICE over incidents in Chicago, including driver's fatal shooting. Now, in this situation, not only did they frame it in the wrong way, they tried to find some situation where Latino leaders are condemning ICE.
Unbelievable.
Condemning ICE. Another one from The Guardian. U.S. immigration officers kill man trying to flee vehicle stop near Chicago. No, he wasn't trying to flee vehicle stop. He was dragging a police officer with his car.
Correct.
So it just goes on and on. I've got about 10 of these headlines, but it's a good example of what the left-leaning media tries to do. They take the headline and they try to make it into something that it's just not. And that's the problem that you have. That's the problem that people have. And this is why you get people, and you see it on social media, with such differing opinions about what actually happened.
That's a great point, because first of all, these newspapers and media outlets know that a gigantic portion of the public is only reading the headline. So they make the headline very ambiguous as to whether the cop was at fault or not, or almost like coming out and saying that the cop was at fault. Then, in the story, it will say, well, cops were getting attacked and they shot the guy. So, the cops
and
were
the officer
right
did
to
end
do it.
up in the hospital.
So then when they're criticized later, first of all, a lot of time they will go back and change the headline in the online edition. That's number one. And number two, when they are criticized later, they'll be like, wait, in the story, we said that the cop was justified, so why are you criticizing us? This is what the media do. The headline is radically different from the story in the same exact story.
All right, that's the kind of thing we're going to do in our 10 minutes of truth with Barrett and Baxa. We're going to shine a light on these things. Together, we got about 50 years of experience in TV newsrooms, radio also. We're going to have fun with it sometimes, right? This is a very serious week. At some point, it will be a little more lighthearted because we like to joke around a lot on the Barrett and Baxa podcast. But we're going to try and give it to you in short clips so that you can digest it. You can binge watch it if you want, or you can just watch one or two while you're sitting in the doctor's office.
Well, that's it for this episode of Barrett and Baxa. Like, subscribe, and do all that other stuff podcasts want you to do.